Number 10 in our Christmas Top 10 Poems. A Christmas Poem. A poem by Wendy Cope. At Christmas little children sing and merry bells jingle. The cold winter air makes our hands and faces tingle. And happy families go to church and cheerily they mingle. And the whole business is unbelievably dreadful, if you're single. Number 9 in our Christmas Top 10 Poems. Journey of the Magi. A poem by TS Eliot. The journey of the Magi, a cold coming we had of it. Just the worst time of the year for a journey, and such a long journey, the ways deep and the weather sharp, the very dead of winter. And the camels galled, sore-footed, refractory, lying down in the melting snow. There were times we regretted the summer palaces on slopes, the terraces, and the silken girls bringing sherbet. Then the camel men cursing and grumbling and running away, and wanting their liquor and women, and the night fires going out, and the lack of shelters, and the cities hostile and the towns unfriendly and the villages dirty and charging high prices. A hard time we had of it. At the end we preferred to travel all night, sleeping in snatches, with the voices singing in our ears, saying that this was all folly. Then at dawn we came down to a temperate valley, wet, below the snow line, smelling of vegetation, with a running stream and a watermill beating the darkness, and 3 trees on the low sky, and an old white horse galloped away in the meadow. Then we came to a tavern with vine leaves over the lintel, 6 hands at an open door dicing for pieces of silver, and feet kicking the empty wineskins. But there was no information, and so we continued, and arriving at evening, not a moment too soon finding the place, it was, you might say, satisfactory. All this was a long time ago, I remember, and I would do it again, but set down this, were we led all that way for birth or death? There was a birth, certainly we had evidence and no doubt. I had seen birth and death, but had thought they were different. This birth was hard and bitter agony for us, like death, our death. We returned to our places, these kingdoms, but no longer at ease here, in the old dispensation, with an alien people clutching their gods. I should be glad of another death. Number 8 in our Christmas Top 10 Poems. I Saw a Stable. A poem by Mary Coleridge. I saw a stable, low and very bare, a little child in a manger. The oxen knew him, had him in their care, to men he was a stranger, the safety of the world was lying there, and the world's danger. Number 7 in our Christmas Top 10 Poems. The Christmas Rose. A poem by Cecil de Lewis. What is the flower that blooms each year in flowerless days, making a little blaze on the bleak earth, giving my heart some cheer? Harsh the sky and hard the ground when the Christmas rose is found. Look! Its white star, low on earth, raise a vision of rebirth. Who is the child that's born each year, his bedding, straw, his grace, enough to thaw my wintering life, and melt a world's despair? Harsh the sky and hard the earth when the Christmas child comes forth. Look! Around a stable thrown beasts and wise men are at one. What men are we that, year on year, we Herod wise in our cold wits devise a death of innocence, a rule of fear? Hushed your earth, full starred your sky for a new nativity, be born in us, relieve our plight, Christmas child, you rose of light. Number 6 in our Christmas Top 10 Poems. Christmas Carol. A poem by Laurence Dunbar. Ring out, ye bells. All nature swells with gladness at the wondrous story, the world was lorn, but Christ is born to change our sadness into glory. Sing, earthlings, sing. Tonight a King hath come from heaven's high throne to bless us. The outstretched hand o'er all the land is raised in pity to caress us. Come at his call, be joyful all, away with mourning and with sadness. The heavenly choir with holy fire their voices raise in songs of gladness. The darkness breaks and dawn awakes, her cheeks suffused with youthful blushes. The rocks and stones in holy tones are singing sweeter than the thrushes. Then why should we in silence be, when nature lends her voice to praises, when heaven and earth proclaim the truth of him for whom that lone star blazes? No, be not still, but with a will strike all your harps and set them ringing, On hill and heath let every breath throw all its power into singing. Number 5 in our Christmas Top 10 Poems. Christmas. A poem by Sir John Betjeman. The bells of waiting Advent ring, the tortoise stove is lit again and lamp oil light across the night has caught the streaks of winter rain in many a stained glass window sheen from Crimson Lake to Hooker's Green. The holly and the windy hedge and round the manor house the yew will soon be stripped to deck the ledge, the altar, font and arch and pew, so that the villagers can say the church looks nice on Christmas Day. Provincial public houses blaze, corporation tramcars clang, on lighted tenements I gaze, where paper decorations hang, and bunting in the red town hall says Merry Christmas to you all. And London shops on Christmas Eve are strung with silver bells and flowers as hurrying clerks the city leave to pigeon-haunted classic towers, and marbled clouds go scudding by the many-steepled London sky. And girls in slacks remember dad, and oafish louts remember mum, and sleepless children's hearts are glad. And Christmas morning bells say come, even to shining ones who dwell safe in the Dorchester Hotel. And is it true? And is it true? This most tremendous tale of all, seen in a stained glass window's hue, a baby in an ox's stall? The maker of the stars and sea become a child on earth for me? And is it true? For if it is, no loving fingers tying strings around those tissued fripperies, the sweet and silly Christmas things, bath salts and inexpensive scent and hideous tie so kindly meant. No love that in a family dwells, no caroling in frosty air, nor all the steeple-shaking bells can with this single truth compare that God was man in Palestine and lives today in bread and wine. Number 4 in our Christmas Top 10 Poems. The Oxen. A poem by Thomas Hardy. Christmas Eve, and 12 of the clock. Now they are all on their knees, an elder said as we sat in a flock by the embers and hearthside ease. We pictured the meek mild creatures where they dwelt in their strawy pen, nor did it occur to one of us there to doubt they were kneeling then. So fair a fancy few would weave in these years. Yet, I feel, if someone said on Christmas Eve, come, see the oxen kneel in the lonely barton by yonder Kumar childhood used to know, I should go with him in the gloom, hoping it might be so. Number 3 in our top. A Visit from St. Nicholas. A poem by Clement Clarke Moore. 'Twas the night before Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mama in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled our brains for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below, when, what to my wondering eyes should appear, but a miniature sleigh, and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver, so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled, and shouted, and called them by name, now, Dasher. Now, Dancer. Now, Prancer and Vixen. On, Comet. On, Cupid. On, Donder and Blitzen. To the top of the porch. To the top of the wall. Now dash away. Dash away. Dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky, so up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then, in a twinkling, I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head, and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur, from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled. His dimples how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly, that shook when he laughed, like a bowlful of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night." Number 2 in our top. Talking Turkeys. A poem by Benjamin Zephaniah. Be nice to you turkeys dis Christmas. 'Cause turkeys just wanna have fun. Turkeys are cool, turkeys are wicked. And every turkey has a mum. Be nice to you turkeys dis Christmas. Don't eat it, keep it alive. It could be you mate, and not on your plate. Say, yo, turkey, I'm on your side. I got lots of friends who are turkeys. And all of dem fear Christmas time. They wanna enjoy it, they say humans destroyed it. And humans are out of their mind. Yeah, I got lots of friends who are turkeys. They all have a right to a life. Not to be caged up and genetically made up. By any farmer and his wife. Turkeys just wanna play reggae. Turkeys just wanna hip hop. Can you imagine a nice young turkey saying, "Oi cannot wait for the Chapo"? Turkeys like getting presents, they wanna watch Christmas TV. Turkeys have brains and turkeys feel pain. In many ways like you and me. I once knew a turkey called Turkey. He said, "Benji, explain to me please. Who put the turkey in Christmas? And what happens to Christmas trees?" I said, "I am not too sure, turkey. But Ito's nothing to do with Christ Mass. Humans get greedy and waste more than need be. And businessmen make loads of cash. Be nice to you turkey dis Christmas. Invite dem indoors, face some greens. Let dem eat cake and let dem partake in a plate of organic grown beans. Be nice to you turkey dis Christmas. And spare dem the cut of the knife. Join turkeys united and they'll be delighted. And you will make new friends for life." And finally, number 1 poem in our Christmas top 10 poems. Ring Out. Wild Bells. A poem by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Ring out, wild bells, to the wild sky. The flying cloud, the frosty light. The year is dying in the night. Ring out, wild bells, and let 'em die. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring, happy bells, across the snow. The year is going, let him go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. Ring out the grief that saps the mind. For those that hear we see no more. Ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress to all mankind. Ring out a slowly dying cause. And ancient forms of party strife. Ring in the nobler modes of life. With sweeter manners, purer laws. Ring out the want, the care, the sin. The faithless coldness of the times. Ring out my mournful rhymes. But ring the fuller minstrel in. Ring out false pride in place and blood. The civic slander and the spite. Ring in the love of truth and right. Ring in the common love of good. Ring out old shapes of foul disease. Ring out the narrowing lust of gold. Ring out the 1,000 wars of old. Ring in the 1,000 years of peace. Ring in the valiant man and free. The larger heart, the kindlier hand. Ring out the darkness of the land. Ring in the Christ that is to be. This was our top 10 Christmas poems. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. If you liked our selection and want to develop your intellectual skills, or just to relax, please subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/AI-Readers, and follow us to listen quality poems written by the most famous poets of English literature and read by the most advanced artificial intelligence software. Thank you.